50 years ago, when NBC offered the nation a system of network communications, few dreamed how large an impact radio and soon television would have on this country. 25 years later, as millions of Americans welcome television into their lives, KFDX television came to the needs of Texoma, providing such services as comprehensive local news coverage. Today, TV3 continues to serve its viewers with the same reliability and integrity it was founded on 25 years ago. So congratulations on your anniversary.
TV3, celebrating 25 years on the air. Your host tonight, General Manager and 25-year club member, Warren Silver.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking at a somewhat yellowed newspaper edition that was printed on April the 12th, 1953. In it, it has the idea that beginning this afternoon at 4:30, Sunday, we're going to have a new television station in Wichita Falls, KFDX TV. In this edition of the paper, we found out that we were going to go on the air with a staff of 30 people. There are newspaper ads with best wishes from newspaper businesses throughout the entire area. And it tells about the technology, the equipment, the months of planning, the future program possibilities, and what it might mean to have another television station in the Wichita Falls, Lawton area. Well, today, April the 12th, 1978, we are celebrating our 25th anniversary on TV on KFDX TV. We do have modern equipment, the latest technology available to man to bring you the very finest quality that we can from KFDX TV. But for this 30 minutes, we're going to invite you to go back and look over the past 25 years. Some of you who have been around all that time are going to enjoy seeing some of the pictures that bring back memories of programs that you might have seen on Channel 3 time and time again. We're going to show you some of the personalities that have been with us that are not with us anymore. So we hope that you will join us for this 30 minutes as we look back over the past 25 years of television on KFDX TV, Channel 3 in Wichita Falls. Well, to begin with, I invite you to watch the first piece of film that was ever used on KFDX TV, and it went on the air at 4:30 Sunday afternoon, April the 12th of 1953. And I'm going to describe some of the scenes to you as we see them whenever we go through the film. The first scene, of course, is the erecting of that 8-ton antenna that went to the top of the 1,049-foot tower. This was a very exciting event. Many cars came out along the Seymour Road and watched the event being taken, and it was pulled by a gin pole 1,049 feet in the air and pulled there. It was quite an exciting moment for KFDX to see that antenna go clear to the height of that huge tower, and it is still there. By the way, it weighs 130 tons, and it's built to withstand a wind of 150 miles an hour, in case you happen to be interested. This, then, is the late Bill Hood, who did for many years on radio White's Man on the Street, walking across 8th Street, going into the City National Bank. As many of you will recall, 25 years ago, that's the way the side street entrance looked to the City National Bank. Bill has just finished his White's Man on the Street radio program and is going to the top of the City National Building, the 14th floor, and there is the entrance to the radio station that had been on the air since 1948, 5 years of radio before television began. So we open the doors and then we go inside and we'll find out who the people are that did the planning for KFDX TV and its preparation and its construction. This is the receptionist that we had. Bill has just returned from doing his program. I remember being a disc jockey on this radio station, and I had the highest floor and the highest seat in the city of Wichita Falls on the 13th floor, or 14th as it was called. Right here you see Mr. Cannon, who is the president of Wichitex Radio and Television, the man who gave us inspired leadership for many, many years and got our station off to the air and to a tremendous start for many, many years, Mr. D.A. Cannon, Sr. There is Mr. Mott Johnson, who left Wichita Falls soon after this and is retired now, living in Beaumont, Texas. And to Mr. Cannon's left is the very important lady for many of us who were employees, Mamie Kufus, who is happy still today. Retired, she was the one who wrote all of her checks. And there was the sign and the slogan that we were to use when we first went on the air. There's more to see on Channel 3. Then we segue into a shot of the sales team. Howard Fry on the left, Raymond Dorsey, George Craig, and the late Johnny White is on the right. Howard Fry became the executive vice president, and of course George Craig still lives in Wichita Falls, and the late Johnny White. And then we announced in this particular film that NBC was to be our primary network. Next we have the person who has been with this current staff the longest, Ann Kring. The lady on the left is Lillian Isley, who was the executive secretary at that time. But Ann Kring is still with us, director of national sales here at KFDX TV in 1978. That in the middle is Jean Jones, who just came into the picture there, and later she will have a program on KFDX in the first year or two for the children's programming. Now Lillian has just turned to show you the first log that we were going to use in 1953, the day that we signed on the air. That was a very exciting day. We signed on at 4:30 and we signed off at 11 o'clock. This is a familiar face or a person to a lot of you early viewers or old-timers around Wichita Falls. This is Bill Angel. Bill was in radio before we had television, and he had his own television program. We played what we called totalizators at those times at 5:30 in the afternoon. And Bill Angel was with us for many, many years. Here we have one of the radio announcers. I am not too sure as to what his name was, but he was giving a cue to the old radio booth that something was ready to start. These were the announcers we had on radio just a few days and weeks before we went into the television business. Now to the left there is Mike Henry. Mike Henry, if you'll recall, was the first news anchor person at 6 and 10 on Channel 3. Michael Henry. The last word we have about Mike is that he is living in the San Antonio area. We'll stand corrected on that. Of course, we haven't seen Mike in many, many years. Then they're going to also tell you that at the beginning, in 1953, we were going to have some programs from ABC. We were to be the NBC primary affiliate with ABC programs to also be seen on Channel 3. This is Dorothy Dooley. Dorothy Dooley and I, there's yours truly on the left, I don't even recognize myself hardly. We had done 15-minute radio shows for several years on KFDX radio prior to going on television. And our show, People from Here and There with Joey there, was on at 6 o'clock on that Sunday afternoon on April the 12th, 1953, and it went on for several months from 6 to 7 o'clock, 1 full hour of live programming on KFDX TV. Dorothy is not with KFDX now, but she is in the city of Wichita Falls and has recently returned to come and say hello to all of us on her 25th anniversary. This is the control room that we went on the air with. That's Richard Broyles, who was an engineer at that time. He now works for RCA in St. Louis, Missouri. By the way, we're getting ready to get us a brand new transmitter. This transmitter that you see on the screen now is 25 years old, and it'll be replaced in May of this year, 78, with a brand new, much smaller in size transmitter. This was the control panel from which we have Richard Broyles and Mark Webb, one of our first employees when we first went on the air. Mark is working for a company traveling 5 states in the southwestern part of the United States. Here was a 16-millimeter film projector that we had, as well as what we called the old tele-op machine. It was through the 16-millimeter projector films and the old tele-op machine that we got the video on the air. At that time, we did not have microwave systems or the network coming in. Everything had to be done by remote control from these two particular machines. Now, of course, we have the networks by microwave, we have 35mm slides, we have videotapes, we have cart machines. 25 years of technology, a lot different than it was the day that it began. The last slide we used, the opening day, was, whew, what a day. Here is our chief engineer, John Adams, looking at the first camera we had on the air, and this is the old RCA black and whites. And oh, were we proud of those cameras some 25 years ago. One of the great aspects of free television has been the commercial aspect. Without the commercials, we wouldn't be able to pay for the equipment nor the programs or make free television available in America. That's the same is true here at KFDX TV. To talk about the commercial aspect of the past 25 years, I've invited Chuck Howard, who is the current general sales manager of KFDX TV, to come on and reflect with me for a few moments. Chuck, what do you have to say about the commercials over the past 25 years?
Well, Warren, you and I were talking earlier about how many businesses in that old newspaper 25 years ago were no longer with us, no longer in existence. And commercial advertisers come and go. And I would like particularly to think about some of the advertisers that started with us 25 years ago, particularly the City National Bank, Kruger Jewelers, Hamilton Bryan, the first Wichita National Bank, which 25 years ago was the First National Bank and the Wichita National Bank, and say that we at TV3 appreciate these people and the many, many others who continually support television, bring their commercial message to you, and thus afford us an opportunity to provide you the finest in entertainment and the best in equipment. And to our commercial advertisers, we say thank you for your support for 25 years, and we look forward to serving you for another 25.
Thank you, Chuck. Very well said, and couldn't be truer. Chuck is one of these people that can remember things years and years and years that I can't. And he and I both could sit here and tell you about some of the most exciting events and funny activities that took place on programs and producing of commercials back in the 50s and early 60s when everything was live. But I don't think we have an hour and a half to do that. So we're going to go on and talk to you about some very interesting programs that we have. Thank you, Chuck, for appearing on the program with me. And let's go on now and show you and go back into the years, some programs that were on the air in 1953 up to 1978. Santa comes to KFDX TV by helicopter and visits with Norman Duncan. Raymar the Jungle, 1957, with Les Lampson. Three's a Crowd with Bill Angel, Dorothy Dooley, and yours truly. The late Bill Hood conducting a political forum in 1959 for mayor candidates. The Nat Fleming Show for many years, 5:30 to 6 in the afternoon, and what a time we had. Uncle Hattie's House Party, 4:30 to 5 in the afternoon for about 4 or 5 years. Pet Parade with David Dodge in 1960. Then 1967, political interviews, and they're still going on this very day. Ben Strickland showing off our new weather map in 1964. And Ben Strickland introducing The Funny Company, a new program in 1963. And yours truly doing a live commercial during the Liberace show in 1954, and all of you will remember this. In 25 years, there have been thousands of changes in programs, hundreds of changes in technical equipment, and there's been a lot of changes in another department too, and that's news. The way we cover news. KFDX TV went on the air in 1953 with 2 or 3 newsmen, an old black and white Bell and Howell camera, where we went out and covered as many stories as we could possibly get within the time allotted to us, and get them back to the station, get it developed, edited, and on the air as much as we possibly could. Black and white Bell and Howell camera. Well, of course, then we went to color film, then we went to sound on film, and then we're up to date now with the latest equipment, modern minicams, or ENG as we in the industry call it, electronic journalism. Things have changed a great deal, but the types of stories, well, they're still about the same. There isn't too much change, as this next portion of the film is going to show you as we go through some of the film stories we've covered in the past. As always, of course, there are dozens of people that are behind the scenes that are never seen on the TV3 screen. I'm speaking of the office staff, the engineers, the directors, the cameramen, the artists, the commercial photographers. Those are the ones that make it all possible, as well as those that you see in front of the TV screen. So we thank them for 25 years of great service to bringing good television to KFDX TV Channel 3. Well, right now we're going to take some time and go back through the years and show you some of the personalities and tell you that you have seen on the screen of TV3. The first one, of course, Norman Duncan, Bob Whedon, Fred Brooks, Charles Thompson, Dean Kerfman, Jerry Adams, Dale Terry, Charles Darling, Tom Crane, Don Alexander, and of course, as today, we still use all kinds of ideas to promote KFDX TV Channel 3. Ladies and gentlemen, from the things that you have seen and witnessed in the past 22 minutes, we certainly hope that you have enjoyed remembering those activities as well as we have enjoyed bringing them to you. We bring back a lot of good memories for many of us. But as always, we can have all the programs, we can have all the personnel and the personalities and put in all the effort that we possibly can to bring television to the screen. But none of it would be a success if it hadn't been for the viewers of North Texas and Southern Oklahoma. So while we are celebrating our 25th anniversary today, we also want to give a great big thank you to all the viewers we have had all these 25 years in the North Texas, Southern Oklahoma area. So from our owners, Clay Communications, from the entire management and staff of KFDX TV, we say thank you, all viewers of North Texas and Southern Oklahoma, and we pledge to you our very best in the quality programming and good televiewing for the next 25 years.
I'm Jane Pauley. 2.5 decades after signing on the air, KFDX TV Channel 3 is celebrating. It's been 25 years of service to Texoma, bringing entertainment, news to 800,000 people. It's a 25-year relationship NBC has been proud to have been a part of, and we're looking forward to the next 25 years.
Chérie, it's time to go. Bonsoir. So whisper soft and low. Bonsoir. I'd love to have you stay, to hear you say bonjour. Papa would soon suspect and then object, I'm sure. Until tomorrow then, bonsoir. Embrace me just once again, bonsoir. It doesn't seem quite right to leave so much delight, but till tomorrow night, bonsoir. Chérie, it's time to go. Now I must say bonsoir. So whisper soft and low. Come on. Bonsoir. Oh, I'd love to have you stay, to hear you say bonjour. Oh, no, but Papa would soon suspect and then object. Oh, I'm sure. Until tomorrow then, darling. Bonsoir. Embrace me just once again. Oh, it's nice, bonsoir. It doesn't seem quite right to leave so much delight, but till tomorrow night, bonsoir.